So, imagine this.
A vast, shadowy hall of doors spans before you.
We don't often like to linger here.
But this is a special occasion.
You're here, too. And being here, as you are, as you can see, there are many doors stretching down a long and unfathomable hallway.
They loom titanically as though built for giants.
The ship of the science fantasy podcast Unend seems to be about the size of a dust bunny by comparison to such giants.
Floating languidly some distance off of the hallway's floor, it drifts as though from the draft of a recent broom sweep.
But on this subject of giants, this is not to say that every door is massive.
Many, but not all, are out of scale compared to the characters of the podcast this is.
Between towering door jambs and thresholds appear additional doorways, some small, some even smaller still. It's very Alice in Wonderland-y.
The more you gaze, the more doors seem to draw forth into existence.
Have you ever watched one of those endlessly repeating Mandelbrot fractal GIFs?
GIFs.
Choosy narrators choose GIF.
To each their own. We're not here to play mind, James.
We very much are.
Debatable. Moving on.
Anyway, it is a little like peering at fractals. Doors between doors between doors between doors. Endlessly appearing.
It's the kind of thing you have to shake yourself out of staring at for too long.
And it's not all doors either. Not quite.
Many dark paintings also hang upon the walls, their details hard to make out in the distance. We're not going to look at those right now.
Or ever, if we can help it. We don't even want to be here in the first place. Every door is unique.
Every door has a different shape.
A different material.
A different hinge and hardware.
Here, a door made of a single slab of stone.
There, one heavily banded with metal and set with a combination lock, like a vault door.
Some are plain, and some ornate. A simple pine door with a noteworthy dent, or a dusty pocket door you just know is tucked behind a bookcase on the other side.
The concept of a door also appears loose enough to accommodate a range of entryways.
The glittering drape of a bead curtain, for example, shivering in a gentle breeze.
Rough planks of the sort you might see barring entry to a condemned building.
Wetly shining ivory tiles resembling nothing more than tightly clenched teeth.
A dense thicket of thorny brambles.
Passageways, ways through.
Literally and figuratively, doorways.
All these portals and more line the colossal corridor, bearing silent witness to the small, glimmering splinter of dark mica that now hovers in their midst.
Inside the ship, the floodlight twinkles within its mechanical cradle. A haze of colorful bioluminescence brightens, then dims. Brightens, then dims, illuminating the scene in control.
Cleo jolts to awareness from her rumpled pile on the floor. Around her, others are stirring, lifting their heads.
Everett reaches for Mickey, finds her hand already reaching back for Everett.
Where?
Cleo sees Dot lying on their back beside the foldlight, eyes open, blankly staring at the ceiling. Her first thought is, they're still here. Her second thought is, they're not moving.
Sound off! Who's hurt? Rawfield calls, struggling to her feet. Her eyes, too, are going to Dot.
I'm here. I'm fine, Felix grunts.
Here, calls Zila. Also okay.
Everett and Mickey, more or less in unison. Here and all right.
Also here,
Merlin says.
still in one piece.
Steve gelatinously rights himself, head bulb sloshing. His brain lights a swarm of drowsy fireflies.
We made it? And the granddaughter?
Cleo is trying to crawl across the floor to Dot's side, but her muscles feel tingly, weak, as though regaining feeling after a period of total numbness. Dot! Can you hear me? Dot?
Check on Dot.
I'm on it.
Rawfield is on her way.
Who else?
The biological man is examining himself.
Also fine. Check on Dot.
Granddaughter?
Rawfield is crouching over Dot's inert body now, feeling for their pulse, taking vitals.
Cleo finally manages to sit up. Her head is spinning. Are they?
Rawfield does not respond. Her brow is furrowed. Dot isn't moving.
Cleo teeters unsteadily to her feet. Doctor!
Rawfield leans close to Dot, looking them right in their eyes. A blank stare looking back.
Doctor, is the granddaughter?
Rawfield looks stone-cold focused, completely intent. She leans down to Dot's ear. She whispers something.
Mickey is getting to her feet, helping Everett up. Why aren't they?
The granddaughter jolts on the floor, spasming.
Cleo's heart lurches with relief, confusion, joy, and fear. That's just not a sound you can hear without having some strong feelings about it. Oh my God, Dot! You're alive!
Again.
Everyone holds still. Steve's eye pupil darts, visibly confused.
Granddaughter?
Rawfield is watching Dot closely.
Talk to me.
Rawfield is still gripping Dot's wrist, feeling for that pulse.
Again.
Zila starts to lunge across control to see if there's anything she can do to help, but Rawfield raises a hand.
Again.
Why are they talking like that?
Cleo reaches out to touch Dot's face, but Rawfield halts her, seizing her wrist before she makes contact. Not right now. Let me work.
Steve is watching intently.
I don't think the granddaughter is...
Rawfield looks right at him and gives one terse shake of her head.
You did it, Dot.
Everett gasps.
Did we all make it? Is everybody here? What the fuck?
But made it where? Felix presses. You can't tell me this is the fucking fount. We're somewhere else. A door dimension? Still better than time travel. Great.
At least we're all somewhere else, Mickey says. That's even more than Artifice managed to do.
Rawfield, Dot's gonna be okay, right?
Rawfield's looking at Dot, kind of weird. She doesn't say anything.
Ripley?
Dot shudders. Their eyes move. They blink. They try to form words. They turn their head.
Rawfield is watching.
So is Steve. Closely.
Rawfield frowns.
Give us a minute. I'm monitoring them. You all figure out where we are. Give Dot some space.
They made it, all right.
Rawfield arranges Dot's head more comfortably as they stare weakly around control. Yeah, they did.
Cool, hooray! Well, there's that problem completely and totally resolved.
With one more lingering glance at Dot's face, Cleo then turns her attention to smaller and furrier matters.
Her princess shiny backpack dangles from the instrument panel where she secured it before.
Half distracted, she reaches to retrieve it and realizes with dawning horror that it is slack, empty, ripped open, steaming slightly.
Ooh, that's new.
Oh my God, she says under her breath. Omelet? Omelet? Does anybody see Omelet?
Zila is at Cleo's side in a heartbeat, inspecting the goopy backpack. It's okay, it looks like he hatched, Cleo. See how the seams burst apart? I'm sure it's fine, he must be around here somewhere. I wonder how long we were unconscious.
Felix is trying to get a good look at his watches in this unsteady light. Wish I could tell you, but my chronoccoutrements are all fucked again. Figures.
Cleo is wringing her hands anxiously.
Oh, Omelet, poor baby. This is no place to be born. I don't know what kind of place this is.
Azila comforts Cleo, proposing that Omelet cannot have gone far and is probably just looking for food. Merlin walks past them as though in a trance. Digitigrade legs tapping toward the foremost window of control.
He stares, mutely, for a few moments, bacular eyes taking in the impossible length of the impossible space.
He starts to laugh. Yikes, it is really creepy when you laugh like that. Felix, still sunburnt, presses his face against the forward window beside him. The surface is comfortingly cool against his angry red skin.
The biological man steps up to join them.
I do not know what this place could be. It appears to be a hallway of doors.
No shit, Sylvester.
Felix snorts.
Dot is sitting up now, helped by Rawfield.
I must have made a mistake.
Hearing a complete, lucid-ish sentence from the granddaughter, Cleo whips her head back around, letting the shredded remnants of her backpack fall to the floor.
The biological man turns to look as well. Don't be so hard on yourself, Dot. I feared that you would vanish like Mother Artifice did, but you're still here. That's not a mistake. It's a miracle. This is wonderful.
Indeed.
Steve's liquid pupil thing,
His fold consciousness amalgam inside of his translucent head satchel.
shivers, looking Dot up and down. Rawfield is watching him, her eyes narrow.
What? Why are you looking at me like that?
He asks defensively.
Plenty of reasons, she says. Where are we, Steve? What have you done? This is your cosmos, isn't it?
My cosmos? You think this abomination is my cosmos?
Well, it sure as hell isn't ours.
Well, the granddaughter got us here. You ask them.
Don't you dare try to blame them. You were supposed to help them.
And I did. The fact that we still exist enough to even be having this pointless argument is proof of that. Nevertheless, something clearly did go wrong.
Steve's pupil swooshes around to focus on Cleo, the pulse-like brightening and dimming of her lights.
Cleavy, it is your lights that we are following. Do you know where they have brought us?
Cleo stares resentfully at Steve for a moment, before swallowing her pride and glancing down suspiciously at her freckles. If on meant I was home and off meant I wasn't home, then wherever we are now must be neither? Or both?
Steve's head bag flickers in a way that seems disturbed.
This isn't right. This should not be so. Maybe you were wrong about what your lights meant. Have you considered that? Maybe you have only led us deeper into the maze.
Shut up, Steve, says Cleo.
Everett is staring out the windows with an expression of someone perhaps remembering a long-forgotten dream. Wait, this is... Holy shit, this is familiar. I've been here before.
Wait, really?
Or I've imagined it before while smoking moth.
Ah, yes!
The biological man turns abruptly.
I remember. You said moth was similar to Alterbud?
Everett laughs quietly, gravely.
Well, not exactly similar.
Mickey's eyes widen. Hall of Hall of Doors. Hang on. The weird hallway that you talked about dreaming about during your treatments at the Lazaretto, is that what you're talking about? Are you saying that's what this is?
I don't know. I only ever saw it in glimpses, but God, it looked a lot like this. Assuming that is where we are, then we should not be here without a mother. Like a real mother, no offense, Dot. They always told me to move along, not linger here.
Dot does not seem offended, or anything else.
They are, breathing shallowly, eyes roving weakly.
The mothers could always wake me up, pull me out, but I mean, I wasn't actually here. I was just kind of dreaming about being here or something. And anyway, it was always just fragments. Most of the time I wasn't even in a hall. I was...
She drifts off, her attention now captured more by the doors than by the hallway itself.
And there was always a mother with me. Two of them, actually. Every time.
Mickey looks a bit nauseous.
I always assumed it was a metaphorical thing.
It is.
Dot says, startlingly, clearly, and loudly.
And it is not.
In my opinion, this is all clearly terror-related. I mean, just look at this.
This is not a terror.
It's not?
Rawfield is watching Dot, still supporting their head as they sit slumped beside the fold light.
Then do you know what it is?
The granddaughter's eyes hazily roam the view beyond the windows. No, not really.
But you, like Everett, have seen it before.
Yes.
Merlin goes to massage his temples in an old familiar movement.
Let me get this straight. You have seen it before. You do not know what it is, but you know that it is not a terror or a metaphor, and Everett has hallucinated this place while smoking moths with the mothers?
Yes.
Says Dot.
Kinda, yeah. Agrees Everett.
Then what is it?
It is the Hall of Doors.
Unable to be kept at bay any longer, Cleo sinks down next to Dot, and this time Dr. Rawfield doesn't try to shoo her away.
In fact, after another quick word in Dot's ear,
To which Dot nods.
Rawfield stands, leaving Cleo and Dot to their conversation. Rawfield going off now to examine others for potential injuries.
Dot is pulling their gloves back on, slowly, fumblingly, as though dressing someone else's hands.
They glance up at Cleo, their eyes taking a moment to focus. Not even a glint of light reflected in those dark depths.
Cleo feels painfully, inexplicably shy all of a sudden. I can't believe you're still with us. We said goodbye, and you're still here.
I am still here.
I don't know what to say. I don't have the words to.
She clasps Dot's gloved hand.
I'm just so glad you're okay. Gosh, you're cold. And your voice. Are you sure you're okay?
I am not sure how to answer you.
But you're not in pain? You don't feel bad?
No, I do not feel bad.
I'll take it. Oh, I will take it. Oh, Tot.
Merlin is once again at the forward control windows, slowly shaking his bacular head.
If it isn't our old friend, the unknown, yet again. Let's get some readings.
He claps his metallic hands together.
Let it never be said that I missed a day of work.
He begins bustling around, inserting punch discs into the Foldlight's operations station.
Some readouts start printing from a feed, which the biological man begins inspecting. But Merlin snatches them out of his meaty hands.
Hey, I was reading that.
Merlin doesn't seem to hear him.
Everything is returning a null response. No thermocubocumeter readings, no altitude, no pressure, no wind. It's as if we aren't anywhere. At least, nowhere these readings have any meaning.
Yeah, I can't compare this to anything I've ever seen either.
Hambing pats the fold-light's casement gently with his, we remind you, totally normally sized hand.
That's right. Remember, he is fully regularly sized, with a tiny-sized voice.
If you can count on the fold for anything, it's to always show you something new. Well,
If we want to learn more, we'd better start looking. Would anyone disagree to some exploration of...
He trails off, gesturing somewhat feebly to the surreal hall.
I second the motion for motion, the biological man says.
Felix shrugs.
And there appears to be no dissent, so Merlin discs the commands to go, but slowly, and the ship gently starts to move forward.
Doorways pass, and doorways appear. Oh look, the door to your childhood home.
Another, a chain link gate woven through with dead vines.
A lacquered leather sheet strung on a line.
A frosted glass PI door, the name freshly chiseled off.
The hallway stretches, vast and long, endlessly, incomprehensibly, into the distance that no eye can see beyond.
Not only does it extend horizontally, but vertically as well. There is an impression of shadowy levels above, like a multi-storied courtyard, an endless, omnidimensional library of doors, doors, doors.
The crew stand arrayed around the control windows, gazing out at the passing menagerie of portals.
A cracked and battered metal warehouse door.
A mossy, dark cave mouth in which dragonflies flit.
A screen of softly waving blue kelp.
An intricately carved stone barricade, like the lid of a great sarcophagus or the entry to a grand tomb.
A small nautical hatch or pressure door, seemingly from an antiquated foldmersible.
A bleached driftwood door, as though from the porch of a rustic beachside cabin.
A crooked wrought iron portcullis choked with dusty cobwebs.
A kitchen cabinet.
A doggy door.
The lid of a teapot.
And also...
Zila gasps.
Looking out the starboard windows, she does a double take.
Hang on, stop the ship! I'd know that door anywhere.
The door in question is painted shiny black, and its colorful, stained glass window depicts a black candlestick, illuminated as though by lantern light from the other side.
A warm orange glow twinkles through the keyhole. A keyhole which, to the crew, appears as large as a gleaming patch of sky.
That's the door to Saskia's. On MIDST.
The biological man sees it. And somewhere, deep down, he recognizes it as well. Remembers stepping through it to partake in an evening's relaxation after the many long days of work leading up to launch day. Then, perhaps that is where we should go. That's where the voyage is meant to conclude anyway. And MIDST is home for Mickey and Everett.
Hang on, Zila, that doesn't make any kind of sense at all. How could there be a door here that you recognize? Have you hypnotherapy as well?
But as his glowing blue eyes fall on the door, he realizes he recognizes it too, in the same way that the biological man does.
And his chest speaker grill can articulate no further disagreement.
We've been trying so hard to get back on course. It seems foolish to pass up a literal door home. Are there any objections?
Everett shakes her head. Let's get out of here.
Not a place to linger.
Agrees Dot in a strange, automatic way, as though reciting something learned by rote.
Zila is watching the door, transfixed.
Look, I don't know what's going on, but that door is the most encouraging sight I've seen in a long time.
Cleo is pressed to the window beside her.
Whatever my lights are doing now, it's different than it was in the other cosmos. That's progress.
Steve shakes his liquid-filled head.
Progress is a meaningless word. Motion without intention is...
Shut up, Steve!
Rawfield barks.
This place doesn't seem nearly as bad as where we just came from. Let's give it a try.
MIDST, says Mickey.
With a twinkle in his eye, the biological man switches a disc, pulls a lever, and reroutes the ship toward the cabaret door.
And like a mote of dust, the ship floats through the keyhole.
Thanks for listening to Unend. If you're enjoying the story, please rate and review to help someone new discover the cosmos.
You can catch Unend every Wednesday anywhere you stream podcasts or through the MIDST Podcast YouTube channel.
If you're looking to dive deeper into the story, become a Beacon member at beacon.tv or join the fold on MIDST.co to receive early ad-free access to episodes, behind-the-scenes exclusives, and lore-expanding bonus content.
Or, if you just want to hear this podcast 2 weeks early and without ads, subscribe on Spotify or Apple Podcasts.
To stay up to date on what's next in the cosmos, sign up for our newsletter on MIDST.co or find us on social media at MIDST Podcast.